What's up, guys? With the release of Espeon, it's time for a new tier list. I also have some new, more opinions that changed since the last tier list. And again, we will start with the lane tier list. And last time I saw some in the comments, there's a bit of a misconception. The lane tier list doesn't mean the Pokemons that stomp through laning phase. It's just Pokemon you pick in lane on top or bottom, and it counts the entire game, right? It counts how strong they're early, mid, and late game, you know? Because I saw certain comments be like, but this Pokemon is so strong in early lane. It's not about that. It's not about early laning. It is about how you pick this Pokemon at top or bottom, how will it perform over the entire game. That's what this tier list is about, alright? This is, we start with this, and then afterwards we go into a central jungle tier list also again. So, starting with Absol again, probably one of the biggest surprises, but again, I still think Absol is an absolutely insane lane Pokemon. In competitive, it drops it down a bit, but in solo queue, absolutely strong. In pre-mates as well, I would say, like in duo triple queue, can perform wonders. Blastoise, back to S tier, maybe even S+, but I don't think S+ is quite there yet. I think he's easily S tier though, currently with the Water Spout Rapid Spin build. Absolutely strong, insanely hard to deal with for so many Pokemon with permanent stoppable. Blissey, currently one of the best Pokemons. I just have to put Blissey into S tier, S+ tier, because every single pre-mate plays this Pokemon, and it's so strong in pre-mates, right? Like pre-mates just completely roll over. If your duo queue, triple queue doesn't play this, you're already at a disadvantage. Every single 5-man stack plays Blissey, and even in solo queue, I think you can perform quite well with Blissey as well. Charizard, stinky in lane. Yeah, yes, you guys know the drill with the potion Timmy's running down bot lane with Charizard, and you just don't have a lane partner for the entire game. Same with Cinderace, same story there. Terrible early game. If it falls a bit behind, it's very hard to farm back up. Cramorant has gone up a bit. I think he's also stinking to B tier. I still can't really put him much higher. I think there's just something he's lacking, but he's getting better and better. Like, he's close of being up here again, and for sure shows potential to be a character with this Unite move buff, which was quite nice, to actually be in a higher rank tier. Crussel, poor Crussel is just, yeah. I think he needs some love from the developers for sure. Currently just very lackluster. Eldegoss is still very, very strong as well. Easily A tier. Only problem with Eldegoss is pushed away by Blissey and Hooper just being absolutely insane supports right now, but honestly, Eldegoss is still quite good as well. Can totally play it. I think Garchomp is a solid A tier. I think it's kind of weird though, like his Unite move kind of got nerfed. He doesn't get move speed anymore now during the first cast, which makes it kind of awkward. So I think he's somewhere between here and there. Actually, I think I'm still going to put in BT. He's just not an amazing laner. Let's just put him down here. He's just still missing like kind of something. And again, I think the Unite is kind of like a nerf to him. It's good after his Unite is gone. I think he keeps attack speed and move speed longer. But it's so hard to hit people in your Unite move now. So it kind of just feels like a stealth nerf to be. Gardevoir, I used to have an A, but I don't know. Lane Gardevoir doesn't feel too amazing lately. Haven't had much success with it. And I think it's going to just move to a higher B tier for now. Okay, as you get Futures Head in level 5, it's still amazing. But there's a lot of things that just run you over right now. Like, against these characters, right? Blastoise, Absol, lay down Lucario, Machamp, you just absolutely stand no chance. There's a lot of unstoppable effects in the game as well that makes it very hard for Gardevoir to be actually a thing. Lane, Gengar, I think it's pretty good in solo queue. You can actually play it in solo queue. In pre-mates, obviously, it's quite bad, but I think it still deserves a solid, I mean, it's between A and B tier. Let's put him into a higher B tier, I guess. I don't know if I should always rank these also in their own tier, but yeah. Lane Gengar can work. It's not amazing either, but it can for sure work. Greedent is also somewhere between S and A tier. Just absolutely annoying Pokemon. Still very, very strong. Still sees a lot of play, but I'm going to put him into A tier. I think that's, like, overall for the entire player base, I think A tier makes more sense to put him in. Greninja, lane, absolutely stinky. Don't want to see ever lane Greninjas in my games too much. Of course, when he gets level 7, he can do something, but even just getting level 7 can be quite difficult in certain matchups. Lucario is still S+ tier. Pokemon is broken, not much else to say. Machamp, solid S tier right now. Very, very strong laner. Is good early, mid-late game. Has one of the best Unite moves in the game currently. And is very, very hard to deal with. Has so much burst. I think Mamoswine, honestly, I think this patch was kind of good for him. I think he is having not too bad of a time currently, and his laning phase is also very strong. His late game still suffers a bit, but due to there being less buddy barriers, he actually does more in late game team fights as well. So I think A tier is pretty reasonable for this Pokemon. He's quite fine right now, and you can for sure consider playing him. Mr. Mime, I don't know. Mr. Mime, just the confusion nerf The nerf of Buddy Berry on score sheet hit him hard as well. And then just count the unstoppable effects, okay? Unstoppable effects can have unstoppable effects, has an unstoppable effect, perma-unstoppable, double unstoppable, perma-unstoppable. It's just so hard for Confusion to stun anything. Like, you just can't stun anything. Everything is just unstoppable. And it makes it so hard to play Mr. Mime. It kind of just gets overran. And again, you don't have Buddy score sheet combination. It was pretty good on him as well. You also lost it. I think 9 hits is a solid 8 here. Nothing S tier worthy anymore, but I think both builds, like either the Blizzard Avalanche or Veiled Gleam, are both 8 here. Can be played quite strong. Same for Pikachu. I think Pikachu solid 8 here still, with the potential of being still in the S tier. But I'm going to drop him a bit lower, because I don't think he's quite... I mean, he's just... There's certain things where he just feels like, never Pokemon, but he's still quite solid. And a very good Pokemon. Again, 8 tier never means it's bad, right? 8 tier means these Pokemon are good and for sure playable. And I feel like those are Pokemon you can pick in almost every game. But Pikachu, I mean, it's kind of close to it as well. Slowbro, solid 8 here as well. Very strong Pokemon still. Has a lot of CC, a lot of, yeah, just CC. Snorlax. I mean, I think Snorlax is not too bad either. I think people underestimate this Pokemon quite a lot. But then again, like... There's so much other things just offer CC and damage at the same time compared to Snorlax, right? That it's just not worth it running him over other Pokemon, so... Sylveon joins the triple attacker over here in laning. The Pikachu, 9-tailed Sylveon. I think they're all quite similar when it comes to power. So I think they're all like kind of next to each other when it comes to how good these Pokemon are. Talonflame in lane right now is pretty stinky. He did lose a lot of damage, so if you don't get a level lead now, you will not do much out of coming out of laning phase, I would say. Venusaur, I used to have an S tier, but I mean, he's still kinda, like, he's also, I think he's just in these attacker slot. These attackers are like strong, but I don't think they're like game changing ever to pick them in solo queue as well. So I think A tier for him as well. Just gonna rank him down from the last tier list. Wigglytuff also has lost a bit of popularity, but still quite the strong Pokemon. Solid A tier for me. Zeraora lane, stinky, leads too long for laning phase to do something. He does have some cheese, I would say, where you can actually do something out of laning phase and maybe get some early kills. But besides that, it doesn't really do much. Decidueye, pretty similar. Serena, solid 8 tier Pokemon as well. Pretty good. Stomp is very good right now with attack rate. Has good laning phase. And the laning phase is okay, but has a very strong level 6 power spike. Has very good late game as well. Can recommend. Dragonite. Whenever I see a Dragonite being played in lane, I die on the inside. That's how I feel about this Pokemon. Trevenant, solid 8 here as well. My 8 is actually getting quite big this time. But I think this time, like, all these Pokemon are super good. Or they're very good. You can always pick them. I just don't think they have the, you know, the edge to go towards S tier right now compared to Machamp and Blastoise. I think Absol is probably the most questionable pick I have in here out of all the Pokemon. And I think that's something you can for sure be like, Chris, why? But, you know, I still think this Pokemon is quite good to carry games with, and in general. Aegislash, very strong Pokemon as well. Gonna put him into 8 here. Again, I'm not ordering these by rank or how good they are in this certain tier, but Aegislash also shows huge potential. I think he's still lacking a bit sometimes when it comes to laning phase, or in general as a lane Pokemon, but he's very good. You can always pick him and you can do well on him. Hoopa, still S+ tier. Pokemon is beyond broken. Drowladon, I think, is B tier. I think Flash Cannon is quite fun. I just made a video on it as well, but it's just not, you know, compared to other things, it still needs a bit more to be like considered something super good. Azumarill, I think Azumarill is difficult. I think it's somewhere between B and Stinky tier. It doesn't have terrible laning phase either, but this Pokemon just doesn't really do much when it comes to overall in the game still. Of course, there's certain games that can feel quite good, but honestly, all of these Pokemon, like, it depends always who you lane against and what the enemy team comps are, right? But in the grand scheme, if both teams have good team comps, then it's just quite lackluster. And now we come towards Espeon. Yeah, I think Espeon, so like, in competitive, I think it's A tier right now. I think in solo queue, it's B tier. I'm just gonna put Espeon in B tier for now. I think it needs a good amount of buffs on the damage. It just lacks a lot of damage. It does have very good early power spikes and has good laning phase. So I think I would put it into like a lower A tier. I think lower A tier would be pretty reasonable. It has very good early game after level 4 when you get Psyshock. It has very good mid game, but late game is quite questionable. But if you actually have a team who does well, right? If you can set up your team, it is quite strong of a Pokemon, right? But it's more like late game, it feels like more of a support. You kind of set up your teams, you don't really do much damage anymore, but early game you can take over games also quite well. So I think this Pokemon is nothing too crazy yet, but it's still something you can for sure pick and consider picking. And that's it for the lane tier list. Let me know as well what you kind of guys disagree with and agree with. I'm always curious about this. And let's head over to the jungle tier list. Jungle tier list, let's start with Absol, also S tier in jungle. We have Blastoise next, who's also currently a very strong jungler with the Water Sport Rapid Spin here too. Then we have Charizard. I think he drops down a tiny bit just because a lot of unstoppable effects, and if you get your Unite move cancelled, you just lose the game, which can happen quite often. Cinderace is still solid S tier as well. Just pretty good Pokemon. Did lose a lot of power because it's much easier to kill Cinderace in teamfights now. But besides that, still very good as well. We saw some Garchomp jungle actually in popularity lately, and honestly it didn't seem too bad, but I think B tier is totally fine for it as well. You can play Garchomp jungle, but I think there's just better things out there, you know, to play than Garchomp jungle. But, you know, we saw Toon of GG played in tournaments, and it honestly looked quite fine. It did look quite fine. There's some people who try Cramorant jungle, but I mean, again, like if you play Dive and maybe Hurricane or Dive Air Slash jungle Cramorant, honestly, it is not too bad. He can get level 9 for the first dread and do some things, but in the grand scheme, I still don't think it's too amazing. Gengar also very strong jungler right now, especially in solo queue with how the current meta is. And then we have Gardevoir, I think also drops or stays in A tier for now. The character has a lot of potential in jungle, but it's just not quite there when it comes to the other Pokemon right now. Then we have Greninja, who's currently the S+ Pokemon in jungle. Absolutely broken. Absolutely broken Pokemon. This character is absolutely insane and just feels unfair. Very, very strong. Then we have, I mean, you could Machamp jungle, but I think the other Pokemon are just, you know, better late game carries. And again, this Pokemon is just much better on lane. Like, you kind of sacrifice a good lane Pokemon to have him in jungle. And he's just not a really hyper carry. Then we have, we have Talonflame, who I'm going to drop down to A tier. I thought last patch he was still S tier, but I've changed my opinion a bit. I'm going to drop him down a tier. I think A tier is pretty reasonable still. He did lose a good amount of damage, and his Unite move got nerfed. But doesn't matter what, he's still quite strong too. Venusaur is also solid A tier jungler. Has the potential of being S tier. It's always somewhere between here. It just depends on your team comp, right? But Venusaur jungler is very strong. And I also have a video of it coming out, I think, tomorrow or on Monday. So if you guys want to play some Venusaur jungle, I can give you guys some tips on it. Then we have Zeraora. Yeah, Zeraora is also somewhere in B tier. Just takes long as the Unite move. I think Serena can also be played in jungle. Something you can consider, but also going into B tier. Then we have Dragonite, which I think is also somewhere between S and A tier, but I'm going to put him in A tier for now. It's just his late game is not too amazing, but I think he has potential and he's still a really good jungler. If you want to play him, you can totally do it. He is very strong. I just don't think he's S tier worthy, but he's a very good Pokemon. Drylodon also solid A tier. Dragonpulse get nerfed a lot, but besides that, he still does a lot of damage, has very good objective secure. And it just depends on your team comp. I think this Pokemon more as well. If you don't have any frontline, it can be quite hard to play. But as soon as you have like a Blissey, a Hooper, or a Neo Wigglytuff, some frontline, this Pokemon feels pretty good to play. It's just, I think he's just outclassed by Cinderace and Greninja right now, so yeah, put them into there. Espeon jungle has potential, but also just doesn't have late game. Again, if you have a jungler who doesn't have late game damage, it can be quite difficult to win games, right? So, can be quite difficult to win games. Azumarill goes into Stinky tier. So I just want to have someone in the Stinky tier. Azumarill jungle deserves this spot for sure. Then we have Decidueye, also solid A tier. I think those Pokemon are just very good with dealing with Decidueye right now. Like all of these up here, right? That's why I put them into A tier. But Spirit Check is very strong as well. And you can, Shining is just a thing where like a lot of Pokemon, it's hard to rank them because if you're a good player, you can carry with all of these Pokemon through jungle, right? But there's just some that just carry a bit better, I would say, than others. And but Spirit Check is Decidueye also very, very strong. And then we have Aegislash getting very popular in tournaments in general. So I think it's very hard to rank him as well. But Aegislash jungle has gotten so much more popular, especially in tournament plays as well. But overall, I think it's still like higher A tier as well, and can be picked in jungle and can be quite strong. I mean, you can see it again. It's picked a good amount of tournaments, so characters for sure has potential in jungle and is something you can for sure play. Sylveon Also pretty similar to this. So someone was gonna be like, but Sylveon jungle won tournaments. It wasn't really Sylveon jungle who won tournaments. It was more like Sylveon did one buff and then lane for the rest of the game. So it's still not an amazing jungler. It can jungle as well with Hyper Voice or Mystical Fire. If you really want to play Mystical Fire, I would recommend you play jungle, but I would recommend playing Mystical Fire to begin with. And yeah, I think that's it for the jungle tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I'm really curious with what picks you disagreed the most with and what you agreed the most upon on. And see you guys in the next video. Bye!